We usually hear is to be authentic is to express negative emotions. To be superficial is to express positive emotions. And I want to argue that negative emotions are actually superficial. It's easy to get there. Positive emotions are actually deep. You have to pay a price to get there. Despair is easy for me. Hope takes work. Hate is easy for me. Love takes sacrifice. Greed, it's easy for me. Generosity, it costs me something. I think we've created a false narrative because we want to make what is easy for us sound as if it's the most authentic expression.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here with us another year. We're so happy to be back. We took a rather long break, I feel, at least for those that follow us and for those that are true fans. I know that you guys missed us just as much as we missed each other. But we're here, and we're here starting the year with something rather good. I feel like it's a really good topic to start off the year with and to carry it on throughout the year. So today we're going to talk about the I think the video that you saw at the beginning, or the reel that you saw at the beginning,
sparked up a conversation.
Yes,
You guys should see our memes. It's not just random, pointless, doesn't have anything to do with our lives kind of memes. There are moments that usually Lula sends a meme that makes us think.
Yeah,
and we have to talk about it.
That gives us that eureka moment almost.
Yeah.
So the reel you saw at the beginning, it sparked a conversation about, or not a conversation, because I feel like we're gonna have the conversation right about now, but it sparked a thought of, that isn't that the truth? Isn't that what being a Christian, and not just a Christian, but being a child of God is all about? Having to control yourself,
Right.
to bring the best out of you and to be the light.
Right.
And I would agree that for a very long time, I thought, for example, let's take the example of, like, I'm an honest person. I'm going to say it how it is, right? And for the longest time, I thought that people that were very honest, to the point that they weren't aware of surroundings, place, and time, and tone, and all that, were the true, authentic people.
Right.
And they were like, oh my God, this person is who he is or who she is, wherever they go and however situation and whatever.
Unashamed.
And while that sounds good and almost poetic and almost like, oh, I want to be that.
Right.
I'm starting to see that it's not so good and it's not so positive, right? Because like you saw in the reel, it's easy to get to that point of like rage and anger and whatever. It's easy to get to the negative emotions, but it's much, much harder to get to the positive, deep emotions. So what was your take on it when you saw it, Kes?
It hit home for me because it's something that is currently the driving force for my year, and in many ways was the driving force for 2023. I mentioned in the last episode of 2023 that I struggled with anxiety a lot. And so for that year, there were a lot of moments that I had panic attacks. I had moments where it felt debilitating to move forward and think positively and just have hope. And it was so easy to be in a position where I allowed this cloud of sadness and hopelessness and negativity to just lead my life. And it took a lot of effort for me to plant seeds of hope and plant seeds of, and it's not just hope, it was plant seeds of joy. Joy has nothing to do with happiness. Mm-hmm. Joy has everything to do with being content and finding the thanksgiving in the position that you're in, whether positive or negative. And that took so much work. And so, yes, like Lula, I had always heard that people praised people that were so honest. And for someone that has grown up with time and place and be careful with your words, a lot of the times it felt like a negative thing for me to be careful with what I said, or to be careful with being graceful, or to be more on the, well, let's think of the positive in a sense.
Right.
It felt like, no, unless you tell it like it is, that's what's going to get you praise. So seeing this meme was almost like, okay, I there's aspects of I guess how I am that is a good thing, but more than anything, it's that reinforcing of, can we take a moment to understand that being negative is easy, and it takes no effort for you to wake up one day and pick something, anything. I woke up late.
Yeah. And that.
I slammed my, pinky toe. I don't know if this ever happened to you guys,
Oh, yeah.
but my pinky toe, and my split my foot because estaba caminando así
Ah,
descalza.
oh my God.
And,
I even hurt right now.
No, it hurts. and that's going to ruin my day. Oh my gosh. I had so much work today. Oh my gosh. It was so slow today. It took forever. Like, there's always, it's so easy to do that. And so for now, where I'll move to you, but I think it's just because it's been my theme right now, trying to plant seeds of hope, trying to plant seeds of joy, that has cost me so much. I am starting to see the fruit, but it took me a year of so many times, which you were a witness to, of like, I am tired. I am so tired of this. I'm so over this. I don't want to go through this anymore. This is never going to end. I'm going to probably experience this for the rest of my life. What is wrong with me? I'm alone in this. All of those emotions, it was hard to get out of that.
Right.
So as, that's my experience. For you, why did that impact you?
I think it impacted me because ever since I decided to really pursue Jesus, really pursue God, right. It started working with me, started working with my character, it started working with the flesh. And I started notice, a lot of people would say things like, "Oh my God, you're new in the Lord. Oh my God, you're a baby in the Lord." And what they probably forgot, or what they didn't realize, is that, yeah, I might have gotten baptized later on in life, but trust and believe that God worked with me quick. I grew up in church and I had my things going on and everything, but once I decided, God, it's you or nothing, it's you, and I give it my all, He really said, okay, all right, then I'm gonna take you. I'm going to take you on that offer, and I'm really going to mold you, and I'm really going to work with you. And so a lot of the times it was very evident for me that a lot of myself needed to die.
Right.
And a lot of myself still needs to die. And so I think it spoke to me because it made me realize it takes a very wise woman, and I'm saying woman because we are women, but it takes a very wise person to say, you know what? Let me hold my tongue. You know what? I feel anger, but I'm not going to act on that. You know what? I felt, disappointment, but I'm going to speak life into that person if I can. I'm going to, not necessarily turn the other cheek. I'm not there yet. I cannot do that yet. But it was like, okay, me dio un slap. I might not turn the other cheek, but I'm not going to hold it against that person anymore, So I think it spoke to me on that level of like, anything that's worth it, it's gonna be hard work.
Right.
Anything that honors God is gonna be hard work. Anything that allows you to deny yourself
What's comfortable,
it's going to take work. And we do that because in the long run, it's good for us. In the long run, we'll realize, I have self-control. I am a disciplined person. I can hold my tongue. I can hold my emotions. I can act despite feeling a certain way, you know? So, and not react,
Right.
which is what I think if you see our podcast, even since Hear Me Out, we're all about that. We've always been about, let's not react. Let's think about it, and let's be better. Let's be
For
better.
sure.
So I think that's why it spoke to me, is like, and I don't think this person, I believe this person has some inclinations, like Christian inclinations, but I believe the person in the clip is a psychologist or some sort. So to see that even in even in
Potentially secular
secular settings per
conversations or
se, yeah,
settings.
there's still truth, biblical truth, God-given truth, which is that negative emotions are very superficial. It's so easy to get there. Positive emotions, they're very deep, and they take work, and they take effort, and they're not easy to achieve.
I think another thing that we always talk about in our channel, though, is balance. Balance, baby.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say that because I agree with this meme that I'm somehow trying to preach don't express negative
yeah.
emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not saying, okay, close up how you feel if you feel sad, if you feel anxious, if you feel angry, whatever, if you feel hurt. Don't focus on that. Hide that. Close that. Shut that off. Only think positive. Only smell, breathe, live positive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with that either, because I also think that, especially when I lost my dad, and I talk about him a lot, it helped me heal when I acknowledged my pain. It helped me heal when I didn't shut that off. It prolonged the healing process for me, at least, when I wouldn't acknowledge it. So no, at the same time, I am not saying that all negative emotion is bad and that somehow we should be, feeling guilty for it. No, I think that we're humans, and I think that part of the human experience is that we experience the good just as much as we experience the bad. But I think it has a lot to do with balance. It has to do with, is this now becoming a part of you? Is this something that is now something you've adopted to be the glasses you put on every single day? And sometimes that may be the perspective or the glasses you put on for a while. That's called a season of loss, a season of grief, a season of even depression, a season of anxiety. That happens in life. But I don't believe that as Christians, as believers in Christ, as believers in someone who died for our sins and for a reason to have good news, that should now be a part of us.
Yeah,
like there should be a hope at the end of the day. So I'm actually reading a book. I haven't finished it. It's called The Garden Within. How to I think it's how to manage the war with your emotions. I think that's the other part of it. And the book is teaching me a lot about how we believe emotions are bad. And we're constantly trying to suppress them. And we're constantly trying to silence them. And that's not necessarily the formula to managing them. The formula to managing them is acknowledging how you feel, allowing yourself to feel what you feel, but then moving forward and not living in that and now letting that be part of me. That's why I now don't say, okay, I'm an anxious person or my anxiety. I say, I have felt anxiety, or the anxiety that I have felt in the past. I don't want it to be a part of me. And I do see that in generations now, even in memes, like funny memes where it's like, comment or like, if this is your girl, she's a little toxic, a little depressed, a little sleep deprived, and a little anemic. I'm like, whoa. Why is this me? And then you see the comments that are like, oh my gosh. And they obviously have other, she's Latina or she's other things, right? And then I was like, ha ha ha, very funny. But why is it now a truth that all women have a little bit of anxiety and a little bit of depression and a little bit of toxicity? I agree that we could have tendencies. I agree that we could have seasons. But why do I gotta be all of those things? And why does that have to be my identifier?
Right.
Right? And so because I have to bring the balance in it. I wouldn't say that you shouldn't feel a negative emotion either.
No, I think what if we really dismantle that reel, I think what there, and I mean it's just a, what is it, 10-second clip, 15-second clip. It's not, we are not watching the entire podcast. I'm assuming it's a podcast. But I think what it is that what I want to say, again, I don't know, maybe some of you might be so curious and go to the actual original video. But I think what they're trying to say is, in order for you to work out that positive emotion, you need to first feel that negative emotion. Oof. There's no way you're going to be like, I'm so happy out of nowhere. No, which is why it takes work to bring up that, to bring up hope, to bring up joy, to bring up, peace, because you're feeling that negative emotion, and you need to speak to yourself of like, no, you need to speak truth to yourself through God, through Jesus, and be like, no, God made me, love covers a multitude of sins. Where there is love, there is no fear. Entonces, todo eso te empiezas, you start working with yourself. You start psyching yourself out of that emotion. But I do think that first you need to feel it. Absolutely. And I think what happens with, and again, I'm not a psychologist by any means, but I have felt moments of depression. I have felt moments of anxiety. And what I've realized during those moments is that a lot of the times those moments happen because we don't know what emotion we're feeling. We don't know, we can't point out what emotion you're feeling or where it stems from, which usually stems from fear, some type of fear of the future, fear of of the decisions you made, fear of whatever. And so because we can't really point out, oh, you know what, I'm feeling angry. I'm angry, or I haven't let go of this thing, or I'm feeling this way because I really do not know what I'm going through. And so te entra la ansiedad, te entra eso de que, pero why am I feeling this way? Why? Like,
it's like a blanket of like everything.
Entonces no sabemos porque, como dices tú, we're so used to telling people, oh, no te enojes, o no te sientas mal, o no te agüites, o no esto, no lo otro. And la verdad es que eso nada más hace que que digas, es que no me puedo enojar, o es que no me puedo sentir así, o es que no esto, es que no. Entonces te empiezas a sentir, como piensas que son malas, ya no las sientes, no las quieres sentir. Pero entonces luego you start desensitizing yourself and you don't know what you're even feeling anymore. And I think a lot of the times that's how anxiety creeps in, that's how depression creeps in, porque no sabemos ni por dónde viene.
How to even distinguish.
I've had times, and I feel like it happens a lot more in females because we are hormonal creatures, more hormonal than men. And there's been times where I'm just feeling blue. Literally, I'm just like, I don't know why I'm feeling sad. I feel...
And then, not to be crude or to be, for our male audience, but then you're like, it's because, it's in a couple days.
Yes. That's happening.
That's happening,
And so I think pero por ejemplo, I feel like this is why we also talk a lot about self-awareness. You need to be very self-aware of like, this isn't me 28 days of the month.
Correct.
This isn't me, the whole, like 3 months. This is me just that 1 week. Or this is me the week leading up to. Or this is me, and that's how you realize, it's probably that. Or you need to have enough self-awareness to be like, you know what? I realize that I've been feeling sad lately. And I know, first of all, I realize I've been feeling sad, period. That's already, you're putting a name to whatever it is that you're feeling. And then second of all, it's like, okay, but why? If you find the why, good for you. A lot of the times... Deal with the why. A lot of the times we might not. And it's not... And I think at that point, it's like, okay, it's out of my hands, then just move forward with it. Which is why finding peace would take work. once you're feeling that. Finding joy would take work once you're like, okay, I'm feeling sad today, or I'm feeling angry today, or whatever. And so I think in order for us to truly live up to that of like, okay, let's go deep with our emotions, we need to first be at the superficial level, which is feeling those negative emotions. I think where we fail is where we're just there in the superficial, in the negative emotions. Como dijiste tú, we make it a daily thing. Y ya salí tarde, ya, I mean, how many times hasn't it happened where a mí me ha pasado seguido? I leave home late, all the lights are red, I'm trying to drive as fast as I can y se me meten todos los carros. And, all of a sudden llego al trabajo and I'm already in a bad mood porque salí tarde y todo eso. Pero then empiezo a decir, y este carro, y esto, lo otro, y bla, 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 bla. And then me pongo a pensar y digo, but you know what could have helped? Si me hubiera organizado. Si hubiera salido 15 minutes earlier. Entonces,
We fail to see the root.
exactly. And a lot of times it's us.
It's us, and I think that perspective has a lot to do with it. My sister-in-law today, she posted a meme that said, it said something like having to wash dishes all day, but having a reminder that we have food on the table. Having to do laundry all day, but being reminded that God has provided the clothes on our backs. Having, to clean up, the toys, or something, but we're raising healthy children. Basically what she was saying is like the way that the post went about was kind of listing a lot of activities that moms tend to go through with their kids, but giving it a different twist rather than the perspective being, oh, I have to do laundry. Oh, I have to cook. Oh, my kids made a mess. Whatever. It was like, but this is what you have, and you get to enjoy this, and this is a privilege, and this is a blessing. And so I definitely agree with you that, we have a lot to do with how much of life we can enjoy. For example, do I wash the dishes today? And sacrifice some time and convenience of relaxing, but then tomorrow I'm going to have a clean house? That's the decision I have to make every single day. Or no, I wanted to relax. I wanted to watch a movie. I wanted to, do whatever. But now I have to deal with, oh my God, my house is a mess. And so, yes, I do agree that like muchas de las veces somos nosotros. But I think at the end of the day, also, it has a lot to do with your perspective. When you make a decision, like, for example, let's just say, no para justificar necesariamente, but okay, let's say I did choose to relax and I spent time with Joel, but now the next day I have a bunch of dishes. I don't think that the right reaction out of me should be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I have so many dishes. The house is a mess. I can't believe this. I think you should be like, you know what? But, I chose and I enjoyed spending time with my husband. Today I have to do this, and I think coming back to trying to find the bright side in it.
I agree, absolutely. I do think that cuando tomamos decisiones siempre tenemos que... I think el problema ahí a veces con a lot of people is sacrifice. I feel like we're living in times where people hear the word sacrifice and they're like, oh my God, what is that? No. It's just a word that people cannot fathom it, And I think what it is that, for example, in your example, you're making a sacrifice today of I'm not going to spend time with my husband because I need to wash the dishes. Or you're going to make a sacrifice tomorrow because you decided to spend time with your husband. And then tomorrow te vas a sacrificar otros 30 minutos porque ahora ya se te hizo pile up los dishes. So I think estamos en una sociedad where, una, no nos gusta el sacrificio either way.
Right.
Y dos, no nos gustan las consecuencias de nuestras decisiones.
Right.
A lot of people no les...
Want your cake and eat it too.
Yes, a lot of people, we have no accountability with people. People aren't accountable. Les dices, te salió mal esto. they start blaming everyone else.
But why?
Anything else. But no, pero it wasn't me. It wasn't like, era esto, era aquello, era el weather, era esto, era aquello, you know? And so there's my trauma. There's zero accountability and there's zero desire to live up the consequences of your decisions.
100%.
Entonces you have people that no lavan los trastes hoy y mañana se hacen una novela en la cabeza. No los lavé, ya soy una de esto, ya soy aquello y ya el día ya no empezó bien porque la casa está sucia. Pero entonces no se ponen a pensar, pero you know what, I spent quality time with my family that day before. But you know what, tengo el tiempo, ¿qué tiene que lo haga hoy? Entonces, no siempre nos vamos a, I should have done it yesterday.
Yeah.
Why did I go to whatever place
And
or
we can't
whatever
get
place?
out of yesterday.
Yes.
It's like you can't go back anymore.
Porque pensamos que somehow, I guess, I don't know, maybe that's the human psyche. Pensamos que somehow living in the past is going to prevent us from living out the consequences of the today. Entonces, I don't know, we have that delusion, I guess, of like, oh, if I blame someone else, if I don't take accountability, it's not going to come to me. And that's not how it works.
You know, I think the reason why, and this is kind of going in a different direction, but it does mind boggle me a little bit sometimes when we fail to see our part in the situation.
Oh, yeah.
You know, right? Now, I'm not saying that in every situation I always recognize, you know what, I'm wrong, I'm the problem. No, I'm human. But I think that the reason why a lot of people tend to have a really hard time is because people want to believe that they are where they are because of outside external circumstances, but never because I could have made the wrong decision. Because I do think that, especially for those of us that, you know, have lived away a certain life, whether it's a mindset, whether it's a habit, you know, it's years of you just being that way. For example, I could blame my mental health issues on my family, on how I grew up. I grew up with a very overprotective mother, where because of my father, he was disabled, we always had to live with this afraid of the world. Protect yourself. It's scary. No vayas a salir sin la chaqueta y no vayas a hacer ejercicio porque te va a pasar algo. And God forbid you run more than a mile because te va a pasar algo, you know? And so that mindset created a certain child of, no, I can, and I really can, and I can't learn how to swim. You don't understand. I cannot learn to swim because it's scary. And what if something happens, right? I could sit here and choose to blame my mother, my father, the circumstances of my upbringing, where I grew up. But at some point, I have to realize, okay, my dad's not here anymore. Am I going to still blame him for the things that he isn't even alive to answer for? Or am I going to realize I'm an adult and say, you know what? Maybe it's up to me to make a change. I don't like how this version of me is. Maybe I need to change it. Yeah. Maybe I need to do something. Maybe, and this is another thing that I think I have grown up. I know not everybody has the same experience. I don't have to agree with my mom all the time. That was hard for me. That was hard for me growing up because I was so like, her word is law.
No, yeah, I agree.
And if she says que me va a dar un resfriado,
me va a dar un
resfriado. And my mom had a little habit where she would say, ponte tu chaqueta. No. Ponte tu chaqueta. No. Ponte tu chaqueta en el nombre de Jesús.
Okay. The blood of Jesus.
And obviously for her, she would be like, ya ves, es que el nombre de Jesús tiene poder, right? And then the more I grow up, like, no, that's manipulation. That's spiritual manipulation. Like, you cannot use Jesus to get me to put on a sweater. And it's like, pues entonces obedece, right? But then, you know, I had to get out of that, like, you know what? si salgo afuera y me enfermo, no va a ser porque mi mamá necessarily was always right. It's going to be because as an adult, I made that decision and now I'm going to suffer that consequence. My mom's not the one that's going to get the cold. I'm going to get the cold. So whatever decision I make at that point, it's not that you disregard los consejos or your upbringing, but at some point you have to figure out, you know what? I can make my life the way that I want to make it. And there have been those things that little by little throughout the year, I've been like, you know what? Even positive thinking might be something new for us. Maybe that's something that I sow into my family. You know, Joel is carrying his own things from his family. I'm carrying my own things from our family. And we're both at a stage where it's like, okay, how do we let that go and now make a new reality? And then our kids are going to be like, you don't know everything.
They're going to be like, I disagree.
I disagree. All that to say that I believe that it takes work to think positive and it takes work to try to change what feels comfortable for you.
Yeah. But, just to start wrapping it up, I think for 2024, our goal is not, it should never be, I'm not going to feel all these negative emotions. I think que si tenemos emotions es porque Dios nos dio esas emotions.
Yeah.
Y Dios no se equivoca. Si Dios te dio eso es porque... pero el problema aquí es tener que aprender de ellos, ¿verdad? Si tú eres una persona muy colérica, aprende a controlar ese enojo, ¿verdad? Si tú eres una persona que es muy pasiva, tienes que aprender a salir y arrebatar el reino de los cielos.
Amen.
Amen. 2024. Entonces, hay muchas cosas que si nos ponemos a hacer una autoevaluación y decimos, ok, ¿yo quién soy en Dios? ¿Cómo es mi carácter? What are my reactions? There are going to be things that are, okay, this doesn't help me in this certain situations, but guess what? In other situations, it does. So it's my job to figure out when am I going to use that emotion and when I'm not going to use that emotion, right? I think the risk we run in denying to feel our emotions is one, where we desensitize ourselves and we're not going to know later what to name our emotions or what emotions we're feeling. Right. And two, we deny ourselves we will be denying ourselves the ability to sympathize and empathize with other people. Si tú nunca has sentido enojo, no vas a saber cuando una persona está enojada y no vas a saber cómo ayudar a esa persona. Porque todo el tiempo esto es, no, pero ¿por qué está enojada si yo no me enojo por esas cosas? Si yo llevo años controlando mi enojo, ¿por qué esa persona? And this comes from the person that is like, no, I expect people to be just like I am. Pero eso es mentira, 2024, another goal. And so, I think que con todo esto lo que queremos decir es balance, right? Balance. Feel those emotions, whether negative or positive, but just realize that acting on them will have their consequences. Acting on your negative emotions and your negative feelings will have consequences, and usually they're not great consequences. Pero deciding to act past those and move forward will require work, accountability, and leaving the consequences of whatever. And so good or bad. And, one last message.
If you guys liked this episode, who knows? We might come up with a new segment called Dismantle the Meme. And if you have suggestions on a meme that you want us to react on or chew on, please let it be thought-provoking, not just... I mean, there's a lot of things that can, provoke thought, but don't send us a random video that has nothing to build on. But if you have a suggestion on something that you have seen, something that's impacted you, and you want to send it our way, DM us or post it on the comment section. But yes, this could be a new
I'm liking the idea of reacting to dismantle the meme. Oh, I like that. Dismantle the meme. Please send it to us. All right, guys, thank you so much for being with us and starting the year off with us. We hope to see you next week. Bye.